All right, I think I have a good one this time. This is a big Mexican restaurant that we did. The guy bought a brand new property. This shows a little bit of the final outcome. And then we did a lot of grinding, just getting ready to grinding 2 big upright grinders, 30-inch and 20-inch. And we grinded this floor for about 3 days. It was a ton of work, but we finally got it to where we were happy. And I do these boards. I usually do 2 or 3 metallic boards to match up to the rendering for the property and to give samples to the customer and let them pick which one they like. Hey guys, it's back at the Mexican restaurant, and we are just about ready to do the coatings today, which is very exciting. This has been about probably a week and a half of just prepping this floor and getting it totally ready for the metallics. The floor was in really, really poor condition. Had massive cracks, had layers and layers of old epoxy. I don't know what else it had. It had tile, it had LVT. Basically, it had everything. Plus, we had a little bit of construction ongoing, so we couldn't really clean really good. So finally I just said, well, give me a Saturday and Sunday and I'll come in and get it all finished up. But I just wanted to give you kind of an idea on where we are. I'm going to turn this around and kind of show you some of the stuff that we've done. So massive project. This is about 2,700 square feet. And it's just a huge project that takes a lot of work. This floor has moisture vapor barrier on it. So basically what we did was we stripped the floor. We had 2 giant grinders in here. We used PCE, so it's like a stripping instead of a diamond. It's like a stripping blade. And then we came back with diamonds just to kind of lay that down a little bit. And then did the moisture vapor barrier. Actually, we did concrete patches. After that, cement concrete patches. And there was a lot. We probably used 2 bags, which is a whole lot of cement to patch with. And then after that, we let that dry, grind again, grind the perimeter, double check everything, and then we came back and did the moisture vapor barrier, which is a thick epoxy barrier. It's about 26 pounds of back pressure resistance, just in case there's ever any wicking or any moisture coming up through the concrete. And then after that, then we go back to patching again, and that was about another 3 days of patching. Because then you kind of see this stuff that won't work for the epoxy, like the repairs or other small things that you missed. And then that's about 3 days of patching with the actual epoxy. I use a thickening agent and then just do repairs that way. And then you come back through and do an 80 grit with that little guy, or a couple of those guys we had in here. 80 grit screens. They're actually 80 grit. And then look at it again, kind of see where you are. Take the 4-inch grinder and just pop off any little knobbies, anything that looks a little too high that this guy doesn't get. And then just keep kind of working through it and working through it and working through it. And then today is the good day, because today I just had 3, you can see this blue tape right here. I just had 3 tiny little epoxy patches that I did. They're just little guys, you don't even see them anymore. And then I built out that threshold back there with the 4-inch, tapering it, making it look really nice. This is our staging area. You can see there's a lot of epoxy in there. There's over 50 gallons of epoxy in there and all the metallics. So that's our staging area and our spin up area. And so I'll put this on and do a little bit of this, a little bit of the 60-80 grit, and then I'll shut it off and we'll get something else. All right. I just wanted to show you what the final step is. So I've cleaned this floor, I don't even know how many times. I mean, I bet that I've cleaned this floor 30 times, maybe, I guess. And so basically what I'm gonna do now is just do the final acetone cleaning. And I have acetoned this once before just to get everything up and just kind of see what I have. And so basically how I do it is I just use a microfiber. I have about 3 of these, so I can use them 1, 2, 3 and then clean them. So I can just brush these with a wire brush and clean them off really good outside. And then I just put acetone in a bottle like this, and then I just kind of make a line on the floor. And it's just easier for me because that way I can just keep feeding acetone out. And I don't have to kind of stop, pour acetone on the microfiber brush and all that. So I just, you know, squirt it out. And then I work, you know, that section. So, and again, I work in a pattern. I'm not just doing this randomly. I go over there against the wall and work, you know, like you're mowing a lawn. Essentially, you just go down, back, keep going, and just get the floor super clean, as clean as you can possibly get it. That's the goal. So this is kind of the floor. So this is about 6 days of prep. Just kept prepping it. You have to wait a little bit. I mean, this has probably been a couple weeks actually in progress, but like probably 6 days of work. Like here, everywhere you see like a mark like this is from a putty knife. And just working into the holes and working into the bad areas and working into the cracks, and then you have to come back and either 60 or 80 grit over this, or take out the 4-inch and actually grind it because it just was so heavy. So this was grinded with the 4-inch too. But this whole floor was in just so really bad condition. I mean, a guy probably could have come in here and just skim coated over this whole thing after we originally grinded it. I don't know what the best solution would have been, but we're here now, so I mean, skim coating it, maybe, I mean, it would have taken some time too, but this took a long time also. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Probably the way we did it is probably the right way. And so basically what we did is we had big grinders in here taking up epoxy and taking up just a mess of stuff. You can probably see it early in the video, but it was, we had a 30-inch Lavina in here, and then a 20-inch Lavina, and our 7-inch Metabos, and we were just going at it. It took 2 days just to get the old epoxy floor up and get started on this job. So this all takes a lot of time. So I'm just kind of walk you through and kind of show what all we've done here. So you can see all these repairs, all of this, you know, work. Everything is clean now. The baseboards are off, so that helps a lot. Because, you know, when the baseboards are off, we can just roll right up against that. It makes it a lot easier to do the final coat because, you know, these areas, like right here, like that little crack, that stuff will be all covered with the cove base that they'll put on. Just be like a commercial cove base, probably like some kind of poly. But yeah, this is what it is. And then once in a while, you know, you have a little frustration. It wasn't really frustrating, but it was just, the floor was really done. And then, you know, originally there was no wall right here. And they wanted to put up a wall right here. and they wanted to take the wall down from over there. So they proceeded to do that, and that's really good work, by the way. And that's that cove base, kind of that black base right there. And so anyways, so they there was just a short wall, you can see dark. So that wall was there. This stuff wasn't here, so this was all prepped for the floor that I was doing. And then they decided to take this wall down. Well, then that left a gigantic hole right there where the concrete had to be prepared. And so I'm in the middle of getting ready to coat the entire floor. And then I had this, and so I couldn't do anything. I had to float that with concrete first time, grind it, float it again with concrete because the self-leveling concrete didn't fill it the way I wanted it to. So then I grinded that off, got it to basically be where I wanted it, and then had to do the epoxy on it so it has a good base. This epoxy will be in the recoat window, but the thing that's really important is the color, right? So we're doing a really dark, base. So we're doing like an aluminum, onyx, snowflake, suntan. So there's, some dark colors in there except for snowflake. That'll cover all this. So we won't have to really worry about the color variations so much. But when you're dealing with a light floor, it's really important to pay attention because you can't have a patch like those in the middle of a light floor because you'll see through that. So I did a basement the other day, a couple days ago, and it was snowflake, pearl, butterscotch, and suntan, and a touch of coffee. And so all four of those colors, the primaries, were all light. And so I had a white base coat. In fact, I had to do 2 coats of white base coat on it because I wasn't getting enough coverage. And then every time I would come back with the 80 grit, it would show like little spots and the little dimples that were sanded off. But you can't really have any variation in the base color when you're doing light colored metallic decorative, because it'll show through. At that house in the basement, I had maybe 2 or 3 left of those that I didn't catch, and I took the coffee from the stick that I was putting down, just coffee, and I just kind of put it in that area to make sure, at the end of the day you wouldn't be able to see those little tiny spots. So, and you can't, but on this one, it's going to be pretty dark. In fact, it's a little bit darker than this floor, so everything will work out. It'll be okay. That's pretty much it. I was over here in the hallway. The hallway wasn't too bad. There were some big cracks going across the hallway. Like right in here, right here. There were a couple big cracks here. You can still see some remnants of it, but our coating will cover all that now. There was a big crack right here. I had to rebuild all of this against this, I guess, new wall, or I'm assuming it's probably new. But down in the base right there against that metal, it was just a big crevasse, and I had to rebuild what you can see here. I had to rebuild all of this because it was just a big crack all the way along the whole thing, and our coatings won't cover. They'll just fall down in there and it'll just be ugly. So that had to be done. And then back here, it's not too bad. There were a couple cracks in that room, maybe one in that room, a few cracks back here. And this I rebuilt. This was just a big, ugly, chunky kind of threshold. It was about this wide. And so I kept doing cement underlayment, built it up, put some epoxy on it just to kind of make it smooth so I could grind down. And then I just did feather grinding on this to create something that looks better. And this will be fine because our coatings will just go right down in there now and fill in. So that'll look really good when it's done. And so that's basically it. So you kind of have to have you first off have to have a lot of patience. That's first. Because, this isn't like a one-day garage or something. That's for darn sure. And you just have to take your time and keep looking at it and processing it and building it, building it to be the canvas that you want it to be. I wouldn't do a painting with a big crack or a big cut in the canvas. And be like, oh, I'm going to do my best work on this canvas with the cut in it. No, you would throw the canvas away. You wouldn't even use that. And so that's what this is like. This is like the canvas that you have to prepare for your top coat, which is what everybody sees. Once this is all covered, nobody sees all this work. So that's where we're at today.
So I just wanted to show a little bit. I kind of sped this up a little bit, but we laid the epoxy down the night before, and I'm back now to clean this up and do a top coat clear on it. I'm going to do a polyurethane clear, and so I'm going over this with a denatured alcohol, and I just kind of going through this to show just that there is a system to it. You can see I obviously don't have shoes on because I don't want to make marks. Because once I put that once I put the polyurethane down, everything is locked into the floor, and so this is the final kind of situation where you want the floor to be 100% perfect. So you can see that the decorative metallic has been applied. This took us all night to apply. It was 3 guys. I had 1 person on the pots spinning them up for us, and there's a big system that I created for that, just a very detailed system to make sure we don't have any soft spots in the floor, just to make sure everything is done correctly. And then me and 1 other guy laid down the metallic floor. So on that on the spin up person, I have him spin the metallic. We spin the metallic in the night before for 3 minutes, and then the next day when we come in to do the application, we spin it 3 minutes and then pour it into another pot and spin it 3 more minutes, and then it's ready to be poured out. So that's where we are. So I wanted to show this final step. This is the top coat, polyurethane top coat. I used a pump sprayer on this, and I'm basically just doing it in little 5-circle areas, 5 circles at a time. This is sped up 3 times. This probably took 8 hours to apply to the floor. I actually did this by myself. You're flooding the area, but not over flooding it. And it basically applies down without any roller marks or brush marks or anything because you're using a sprayer. It's a pretty unique product, and it's obviously one of the best. And then we get to the final, and this is what it looks like. So they chose to do a matte on this. This is the matte finish. This is the restaurant that's finished. It's super gorgeous, amazing. This is a close-up of what some of that looks like. It just came out so nice. I think it's all in the details and all in the prep. I could probably put down metallics on most anything, but if the prep isn't right, it won't look good. And then this is what that looks like at the very end. So the whole entire restaurant looks like this. The guy actually came up to me and said that he wanted me to do all of his restaurants. It's just really, really incredible. That tan is the little lines in there. It just came out really nice. It's a really enjoyable project, and just wanted to tell everyone thanks for watching. I appreciate it so much.